You are watching Canadian Muslim News on Muslim Network TV. From Toronto, Ontario, I'm Catherine Bullock. Assalamu alaikum and greetings of peace. Today is World Refugee Day. We will find out how the UNHCR Refugee Zakat Fund is aiding refugees with Director Mohammed Abu Asaker. But first, some news headlines. Woman set on fire in hate-motivated incident in Toronto. RCMP charges priest with indecent assault in residential school case. New program helps Muslim women feel safe on Edmonton streets. And thousands of Rohingya rally in Bangladesh to demand safe return to Myanmar. Now the details. A Toronto man has been charged with attempted murder after allegedly setting fire to a woman on a public transit bus in what police say was a hate-motivated incident. 33-year-old Tenzin Noble has been charged with assault with a weapon and mischief over $5,000. The police say the suspect poured a liquid substance on the woman and ignited it, starting a fire. The woman was sent to the hospital with life-altering injuries. The Toronto Transit Commission's CEO told local media sources he is committed to making transit safety a priority. Manitoba's RCMP have arrested and charged a priest after a decade-long investigation into the former Fort Alexander Residential School. 92-year-old Arthur Massey was arrested Thursday for one count of indecent assault of a 10-year-old girl between 1968 to 1970. Fort Alexander Residential School has a reputation of severe abuse. A Manitoba RCMP spokesperson says this is their only current investigation into residential schools, but they will continue the process if claims come forward. The chief of the local Sagkeen First Nation tells media sources he expects the community to be relieved that someone was held accountable for their actions. A new initiative in Edmonton, Alberta is helping Black Muslim women feel safe. Edmonton Safe Walk offers a buddy system for Muslim women when they are in the city. Sisters Dialogue, a grassroots organization, created the initiative and launched it on Saturday. Board member Aisha Ali says multiple reports of Black Muslim women attacked in Edmonton over the last few years gave rise to this program. Volunteers accompanying the caller undergo a strict selection process, including an interview and providing a criminal record check. Ali says anyone can make use of the program. Thousands of Rohingya at refugee camps in Bangladesh's southeast coast of Cox's Bazar held large rallies on Sunday, calling on the international community to make arrangements for their safe return to Myanmar, along with being granted citizenship rights. An organizer of the rallies told Anadolu agency, quote, "We held the rally on the eve of World Refugee Day to let the world know that we want to return to our homeland." They carried banners reading, "Let's go home" and "Persecuted Rohingya." The rally ended peacefully. The Rohingya, who the UN describes as the most persecuted minority in the world, were subjected to a savage military campaign in Myanmar's Rakhine state in August 2017. According to the UN Refugee Agency, the Myanmar army has massacred thousands of Rohingya and forced more than 1 million to flee. And that's it for the news. Today is World Refugee Day. According to the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, about 100 million people are globally displaced. And of those, around 50 to 60% come from the Organization of Islamic Conference countries. To talk to us today about this and how the UN is responding, we have with us Mohammed Abu Asaker. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to the show.
Alaikum assalam wa barakatuh. Thanks for hosting me.
Thanks for joining us. A few years ago, you established with the UNHCR a special refugee zakat fund. Can you please tell us what motivated you to do this?
Absolutely. Today, as we are marking the unprecedented figure, 100 million people forced displaced, forced to leave their homes, they become refugees or intern displaced people. Out of this number, 60%, 60 million people are Muslims or coming from Muslim countries. Because of the resources that we have not be available to the level that we can provide adequate support to all people in need, we thought we can connect Muslims with resources with those who need it. And this is where the Refugee Zakat Fund established in 2017. We received 12 fatwas from significant Muslim scholars and institutions, including the Canadian Council of Imams.
So let's get to the fatwas in a minute. Let's just spend a little bit more time talking about refugees. And you mentioned 60% coming from Muslim countries. What's the highest cause of becoming a refugee?
We are talking about five main emergency situations UNHCR is facing right now. Syria remains the top with 4 million people remains refugees and over 10 million internally displaced inside Syria. We are talking about Yemen, Afghanistan, and Rohingya among the top five emergency situations the UNHCR is dealing with. With the current context that we are facing today with the Ukraine situation, so many resources being channeled towards Ukraine, and that leaves many other protracted situations behind in terms of funding and resources available.
So you have now the Refugee Zakat Fund, which is operating according to Islamic jurisprudence or Islamic rules around zakat. Tell us first, we know that the Quran specifies 8 categories of eligible recipients for zakat. Tell us how the refugee fits into those categories.
Refugees fall under 4 out of 8 categories mentioned in the Quran as zakat recipients. They are the poor, the stranded, the welfare, and the travelers. So this means that refugees are applicable to receive the zakat, and this is why UNHCR receives the 12 fatwas that endorses UNHCR to receive zakat on behalf of Muslims and give it to refugees. And this includes the Canadian Council of Imams.
So you mentioned them now. Let's talk about their fatwa. On what basis did they agree to endorse the UNHCR's Refugee Zakat Fund?
Refugee Zakat Fund is the first of its kind in United Nations history, where UNHCR put an infrastructure in place to ensure that Sharia is compliant to this program. First of all, considering the fact that refugees fall under 4 out of 8 categories mentioned in the Quran. Number 2, UNHCR opened a zakat bank account, meaning a zero interest bank account that is exclusive to zakat money. Number 3, UNHCR waived all overhead costs on the zakat. 100% distribution policy applied on all the zakat money. And number 4, UNHCR put an infrastructure in 13 countries where we can ensure that all the programs applicable are Sharia compliant.
So this is an unprecedented level of support. We often talk about Western-based institutions being anti-Muslim, but this seems to be not the case.
Well, I'm very proud to say that we get to the point that United Nations Refugee Agency has created a program that meets with Muslims' values and principles. And when it comes to Sharia, and now we can give a full assurances to all Muslims who would like to help and support brothers and sisters that they can do so with a 100% confidence that this program is Sharia compliant. And this is the linkage. We work as a bridge between Muslims with resources who do care about brothers and sisters and who would like to support them in a very safe environment. And I would like also to add that one of the significance about this program that we provide like big portion of this program of the cash of the money, zakat money we receive are given in a format of cash. Cash assistance is important because that provides dignity to people in need.
That was my next question. Traditionally, zakat has been in the form of cash to the recipient. Then how are you ensuring that it doesn't get wasted and spent on frivolous things, that it's really to uplifting the poor?
This is a very important question. Considering the fact that UNHCR is mandated for refugees, we do have database for all refugees registered with UNHCR. This means that we do have the data and we did first-hand interviews with all refugees. And within that data, we can easily identify the vulnerability. So those refugees who receive that assistance are the most vulnerable cases based on data. Number two, we use sophisticated ways of providing cash. In some situations, example, Jordan, where refugees receive cash through iris scan. And this is to ensure that people who receive the zakat and the cash assistance are the most vulnerable cases. In addition, we do a follow-up visits with those refugees. The feedback we receive from refugees that they spend their cash on the most needed items that they need, either paying for their medicine, paying for their rents, food, water, sending kids to school, and all these items are life savings.
So let's talk numbers for a very short time. Numbers, audiences get confused with numbers, but do you share with us how many people you've helped since you started in 2019 and maybe a dollar amount, how much has been spent?
Absolutely. Alhamdulillah, this program has been growing very fast. This program has been launched in 2017. So far, we received over $150 million, and that enabled us to help 4.5 million people. Canada is one of the top 10 countries providing assistance to refugees in a format of zakat and sadaqah. And I'm very proud being working in this program with all the Muslim communities in Canada and United States and North America. They have been very generous in helping and supporting brothers and sisters overseas.
So, I mean, of course, as Canadians, that makes us very proud to know that we're in the top 10. How do you think that they found out about this new program?
Well, to be honest with you, we receive lots of, we see like the data we receive is many people go and Google UNHCR Zakat. So they are looking for us. And we have not been promoting the program to the highest because we depend on partnerships mainly. And many of the individuals who donated, they looked us up and they donated to UNHCR. And this is because they want to ensure that 100% of their zakat are given to the refugees, or they might think that this is because of the credibility that UNHCR is providing, the trust in terms of providing cash to people, and the reporting mechanism that we put in place, where we report on annual basis all the amounts we received and all the number and locations of people who received the assistance.
I'm not sure if you've already said this at the beginning. How many countries are you supporting refugees in right now?
Well, within all the complex situations in the world, we are operating in 132 countries. This is where UNHCR is present on the ground, in the front lines, providing assistance to people in need. This program, the Refugee Zakat Fund, is applicable in 13 countries only, where we ensure all the Sharia compliance procedures are in place. However, when it comes to sadaqah, this is open to all refugees in the world, including like the 100 million that we are talking about today. And this is unprecedented and sad situation that we are at in a historical moment right now. We hope that with the support and assistance we receive from the community, we'll be able to help as many as possible to alleviate their suffering and also to reduce the number. So hopefully in the coming years, we're reporting on less numbers of people being forced to flee their homes.
So we're almost out of time, and I just want to squeeze in, if you can answer this very quickly. You just introduced at the end. So zakat goes only to Muslims, but if you want to put sadaqah, it's going to anyone around the world. Is that the case?
That is right. The zakat would be giving like the brothers and sisters who are badly in need, and this because to ensure that the Sharia compliance is in place, and sadaqahs can be given to any people, to any person in any part of the world.
Well, thank you very much for joining us. We just scratched the surface, but we wish you well in your work.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for watching Canadian Muslim News. If you like what we do, please share, like, and subscribe. Stay safe and God bless.